Today is the day we're waiting for. Palantir just completely turned everything upside down. The price quickly rebounded. The atmosphere is bullish again. Something massive has been dropped today. A huge mistake has been revealed. Around $50 billion is a crazy amount, and it might push Palantir to 10x soon. Around $1,000 is real. What is happening? And what on earth am I even talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. This is crazy. Looks like Palantir is showing off some serious strength today. After taking a pretty painful drop to around $96 per share, it didn't stay down for long. The stock came roaring back, quickly climbing its way up to about $106, proving just how resilient it is. That kind of rebound isn't just luck, it's a statement. Palantir is flexing its muscles, showing investors that it's not one to stay down for too long. A comeback like this definitely turns heads. The whole atmosphere just did a complete 180. One moment, there was hesitation and concern, and now, boom, everyone's feeling bullish about Palantir. It's like a wave of optimism just swept through, pushing aside all that uncertainty. Investors who were on edge are suddenly breathing easier, and excitement is creeping back into the market. It's a refreshing change, almost like stepping outside after a long storm and feeling that crisp, clean air. The sentiment has flipped, and now all eyes are on Palantir to see just how far it can go. But hold on. Before we get too carried away, one analyst stepped in with a little reality check. He pointed out that while today's bounce looks nice, it might just be a classic dead cat bounce. According to him, there's still a real chance that Palantir could drop even further, potentially down to the 50-day moving average, which is sitting around $84. And here's where it gets interesting. This level lines up almost perfectly with the closing price right before that big earnings gap up. In other words, if this plays out, the stock could come full circle, wiping out all those recent gains. So, while the excitement is real, there's still a reason to stay cautious. But here's the thing. Palantir investors aren't just any investors. They're smart, and some are already thinking a few steps ahead. One investor shared his approach, and it might just help you figure out your next move. He mentioned that a lot of retail investors he's talked to are waiting for Palantir to drop to around $85 before jumping in, while some are even eyeing the $60 to $70 range. But for him, trying to time the absolute bottom is just a waste of energy. Even legends like Warren Buffett couldn't do it consistently. Instead, he follows a different game plan. He started buying Palantir at $8, even though the actual low was around $5. He ignored the noise, trusted his own indicators, and doubled down between $10 and $21. His strategy is simple. Follow the whales, stick to dollar-cost averaging, and block out all the retail panic. At the end of the day, it's all about playing the long game, not getting caught up in the short-term drama. But something about all of this feels a little off, and one analyst pointed out just how bizarre the timing really is. He explained that some Palantir traders made millions right before two major pieces of bad news hit the market: the Pentagon's 8% budget cut and the CEO's new stock sale plan. And as expected, Palantir's stock took a nosedive, dropping 18% in just 2 days. But here's where things get really suspicious. Right before any of this news was public, there was an unusual surge in Palantir put options. In just a 5-minute window, traders dumped over $600,000 into $120 put contracts, essentially making a big bet that the stock was about to crash. And wouldn't you know it? That's exactly what happened. These traders walked away with millions, while everyone else was left blindsided. Now, was this just a lucky guess? Or did someone know something the rest of the market didn't? It's impossible to say for sure, but one thing is certain. This kind of perfectly timed move doesn't happen every day. It's got people talking, and it's definitely raising some eyebrows. But here's the wild part. According to this analyst, this dip isn't just another drop. It's a once-in-a-lifetime chance to grab Palantir shares at a discount. In his eyes, this might be the last time we ever see Palantir below $100 because from here, the only way is up. He pointed out that big players, institutions, whales, and even politicians have been quietly loading up on Palantir call options, pouring tens of millions into bets that the stock is heading higher by May. And not just a little higher, he's calling for a move to $150 and beyond, sooner than most people expect. So while the recent drop might have rattled some investors, those paying attention see it as a golden opportunity. If he's right, this could be the kind of moment people look back on and wish they had taken advantage of. His message: don't miss it. Because once Palantir starts climbing, there might be no looking back. So at this point, You might still be wondering, what's actually going on? Why did Palantir's price suddenly make such a strong comeback after that brutal drop? Well, here's the huge plot twist of the day. If you remember in our last video, we talked about what seemed to be the biggest reason behind Palantir's decline: the news that Donald Trump was planning to cut military spending. That announcement sent shockwaves through the market, making investors panic and causing the stock to take a serious hit. But guess what? Turns out that whole narrative was built on false information. That's right, it wasn't even true. A Twitter analyst just revealed the truth, posting an official statement from Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth, and what he said changes everything. According to Hegseth, the reports about an 8% annual budget cut to the Pentagon were completely inaccurate. There is no official plan to cut defense spending. Instead, the real story is that they are looking to refocus and reinvest that 8%, which amounts to roughly $50 billion, into different priorities within the defense budget. And here's the kicker: nothing is set in stone. This is all just planning and preparation at this stage. There's no official action being taken yet. And if that wasn't enough to clear up the confusion, Hegseth also confirmed that some of the most important defense programs are completely untouched by this so-called cut. Things like border security, cybersecurity, nuclear modernization, and the U.S. Iron Dome are all exempt. In other words, the idea that Palantir's biggest customers, the U.S. military and government agencies, were about to see their budgets slashed. That was never actually true. So what does this mean for Palantir? Simple. The massive sell-off that sent the stock tanking was based on false information. Investors who dumped their shares out of fear are now realizing they overreacted, and those who stayed on the sidelines are scrambling to get back in. That's why Palantir's price rebounded so fast. Once the truth came out, the rush to buy was on. It's a perfect example of how fast sentiment can shift in the market. 1 minute, panic takes over and sends a stock crashing. The next, a new piece of information flips the entire narrative, and suddenly, the stock is back on the rise. And in Palantir's case, it looks like this rebound might just be the start of something much bigger. And just like that, everything flipped upside down. The moment this news came out, the whole vibe around Palantir completely changed. Investors who were panicking just a day ago are now turning bullish again, realizing that maybe, just maybe, they overreacted. But here's where things get really interesting. People aren't just feeling optimistic, they're going all in on some massive speculations. Suddenly, bold price predictions are popping up everywhere, and some of them are absolutely wild. One analyst even threw out the idea that Palantir could hit $300 in the near future. Yeah, you heard that right, 300. A target like that would have sounded crazy just a few days ago. But with all the momentum shifting and big players loading up, some people are starting to believe it might not be as far-fetched as it seems. But here's the crazy part. While some are calling for $300, one analyst took it even further and said that with this news, Palantir could actually hit $1,000 soon. Yeah, a full 4-digit price target. Sounds absolutely insane, right? Now, let's be real. This might just be pure speculation. Price predictions like this always spark hype, and they definitely get people talking. But at the same time, with the way Palantir has been moving lately, can we really say it's impossible? Think about it. This stock has already shocked so many of us with its wild swings, massive rebounds, and the sheer amount of big money flowing in. Just when people think they have it figured out, it throws another curveball. So while $1,000 might seem ridiculous at first, the way things are playing out, who's to say it couldn't happen down the line? If there's one thing Palantir has proven, it's that it loves surprising everyone. So with everything that's been happening, one thing is clear. Palantir's future is looking brighter than ever. The panic from a few days ago has completely flipped, and now all signs are pointing toward massive potential ahead. And guess who's taking full advantage of this moment? Institutional investors. That's right. The big money players aren't just watching from the sidelines, they're buying in. A Twitter analyst explained this perfectly, pointing out that it's not retail investors keeping Palantir above $100. It's the institutions and index funds that are being forced to buy at these levels. Why? Because the OG shareholders, the ones who've been holding Palantir for years, aren't selling. They believe in the long-term vision, and they're not willing to let go of their shares. That means institutions have no choice but to buy at these higher prices, further strengthening the stock's position. And this is a huge signal for Palantir. When big money steps in like this, it's usually not for a quick trade. It's because they see long-term value. The stock has already proven its resilience, bouncing back from uncertainty, shaking off false narratives, and attracting major buyers. With this kind of momentum building, Palantir isn't just surviving, it's setting up for something much bigger. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Palantir update might make you lose money. So, don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.